Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Brakatham to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Latham Bashim Yahshua to the sisters. This is Priest and Officer Aharon. We are the I.S.U.P.K. under commanding General GEN.YAHANNA. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. And today, the topic for today is, can we try to be righteous for a change? Can we just be righteous for one day? You know what I mean? It's I know it's hard to put down some of these bad habits we have, but you know, we've been led down the wrong road with this Christianity that I'm sick of it, really. And there's a lot of people who want to be, they want the truth, but they don't know how to live the truth. And Slakia, got a bad cold, Slakia. But they want the truth. There's actually people, some of these wicked ass Christian churches, they want the truth, but they don't know how to even go about it because they got such a wicked preacher over top of them, and everybody they know is wicked as hell. They don't know how to even be righteous, and they don't know that you can be a perfect person. You can, like Christ said, and the whole reason Christ was came here is to show you to put down your sin and become a better person, and not just better, become a perfect person. And the Christian church say the exact opposite. I heard a sister say one time, I don't know if I said this before, but one time she said Christ wasn't perfect. That was rough there. That was a rough conversation. To have that type of conversation with a Christian, it's like you really, where do you even go with that one? You're like, oh, come on, sis, what are we doing? Because with Christianity, every few years, their doctrine kind of changes. It doesn't stay the same. And you in these scriptures, and like I was taught by the men above me, these scriptures is the same from the time it happened to now. It doesn't change. God doesn't change. What do he say? I change not, paraphrasing. So I don't understand, and what happens is you'll get a bent wrist pastor, and he'll switch the doctrine and have a bunch of women in the church cheering and, worrying about the wrong shit, slakia, worrying about what everybody's wearing, what the pastor's wearing, how they look, what wig is, more pretty than the other. Ain't nothing wrong with looking pretty, but they just worry about the wrong stuff. Instead of worrying about not sinning and trying to live a perfect life, they just want to sin. And you don't have to sin. Can you ever try to go one day with just being righteous for one day? Give it a shot. You might like it. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they're in their 30s and especially 40s and 50s. You didn't already live the life of wickedness, so you're going to go and you're going to get to your 40s or even 30s, and you see how the world is. You see how the heathens treat you. You see how the white man treats you. You see how the Arabs treat you. You see how your own people that are destroyed treat you. You hear about the truth. Most people didn't heard about this truth already. Damn near everybody, I would assume. But you say, nah, we can't. You don't even consider us being, Israelites. You don't even consider it. You're like, nah. There's still actually black people who think we're Hamites. That is amazing to me. And then all you got to do is look at the spirit on the Hamite. You're like, that ain't us. We don't act like them. We don't talk like them. We don't smell like them. Nothing. But for some reason, they think because they got you off that coast of Africa, off that west coast of Africa, that you African. Meanwhile, being an Israelite is a bloodline. Just because you live in the same region as somebody, and really, we was forced over there. Salakia. We was forced over there when the fall of, when our country fell, we fled into Africa and, set up shop. And then next thing you know, Hamites sold us. And we end up here. But due to our sin, you know what I mean? It wasn't because we were perfect people. It's because we were sinful. So the Most High said, well, you got to get a whooping. And that's what happened. He gave us a hell of a whooping, and you can't get out of it. Once the Most High tell you to go to the room, give you a whooping, go to the room, you ain't getting out of that until He wants you to get out of it. Slakia. Got a little bit of a cold, but so we're just gonna go into some scriptures, and I'm gonna drop some scriptures on y'all, and we'll go from there. So the first scripture I want to drop on you is Romans. We're going to go with Romans. We're going to go Romans chapter 5, verse 19. And it reads, "For as by one man's disobedience, many were made sinners." So it only takes one man to be disobedient, especially a man with power. So we could pick on Puff Daddy. You know how many people from his disobedience and his sinful ways, you know how many people he made error or made sin because of him? One man. See how much damage one person can do? I mean, even on a bigger scale, I mean, when Solomon started dealing with the heathen women, I mean, we lost the kingdom because of that. I mean, one man can do you like that. Can damn a whole nation of people. And so in the industry, the hip-hop industry, Puffy, he was the man who was disobedience, which made, sinners. He made sinners because, he had power to get other people money. And you know how money is scarce in this empire. So most people will do anything for money, especially a lot of money. And so you figure he made it where, he created a lot of sinners. And so let me keep reading. "So by the disobedience of one shall many be made righteous." So let me reread that. Verse 19, "For as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous." Commander General Yohanna, his obedience made a lot of righteous brothers and sisters. Now, this is what we got going on here in this I.S.U.P.K. Now's the time, I mean, to get in this school, because this is like the best thing that ever happened to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, to actually have a God that ain't a white boy, that ain't an Arab, that ain't a rock, or some kind of half man, half woman with arms and dreadlocks. You got a God that will bless you if you do well, but if you don't want to listen, he got some work for you too. But also, he loves you, and he'll put us above all people. All we got to do is just have some morals. That's all he really wants us to have is morals. I don't see what's wrong with that. But in today's time, it's like when you speak morals to people, they look at you like you're crazy. When you say what something is right or wrong, according to the Most High, they don't even want to hear that shit, man. So, verse 19, this is Romans 5 and 19. "For as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous." Now we're going to go to, so that's just like also the Christian church. If you got a leader who's weak, dumb, and all they care about is money and power and little boys and whatever they care about, that makes your whole congregation going to be messed up. because they don't see no righteous people. He can't even turn nobody righteous because he's wicked as hell. So that's not what he does is show you that he's not perfect, so you cannot be perfect. You know what I mean? And that's being perfect is just following the law, statutes, and commandments. That's how you be perfect. So we're gonna skip down and we're gonna go to Romans. Let's go to Romans 10 and 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. And that's the Christian church. That's any religion Black, Hispanics are in, natives are in, because they're excited about the Most High and they do all this, hooping and hollering, but it ain't according to knowledge. It's their own mind. It's what they made up in their own mind or whatever the pastors say to do. And it's sad because most people, they go to the church to get morality, but there's no morality in the church. I mean, it used to be years ago where you would go to the club, drink, you would drink, do all kinds of drugs and all that. And then on Sunday, you try to clean yourself up and go to church. And meanwhile, not even 6 hours ago, you was, ain't no telling what you was doing. I mean, you already know. But now, shit, the church is so wicked, it's backwards. You damn near got to go to church and to get the wickedness, get your gas up, your Sunday morning gas up to get you through the week so you can be dumb all week. And then you go to the club to get cleaned up. Backwards shit, you know what I'm saying? Slakia. Verse 3, for they being ignorant of God's righteousness, that's what we are, ignorant of his, don't even know what the righteousness of God is. They think there's only 10 commandments and that's all you got to do. And they don't even do those. Wicked as hell, man. Don't even do those. For they being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness. You ever hear somebody say, well, I think it should be like this or it's like this. I don't think God did. That's all their own righteousness. You know what I mean? Have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God. So I'll put on do not disturb. We're still doing it. So, submitting themselves, we don't submit ourselves to the righteousness of God. We might not be a murderer, but we're a thief, or we're a thief, or we're not a thief, but we commit adultery, or we do drugs, or whatever. You got to follow the law to a T, So, Salakia. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and 24. 6 verse 24. And it reads, and the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes to fear the Lord our God. And that's another problem. We don't fear the Most High. Can't get no knowledge if we don't fear the Most High. For our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. Verse 25, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God as he has commanded us. So it says to do all, not some, not half of them, not most of them. You got to do all of them. And, you'll definitely be on the right side of the Most High. You don't want to. I don't want nothing but blessings from the Most High. I don't want any. I don't want a whooping. So let's skip down to let's go to 4, and we'll come back to 6. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 20. But the Lord hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace. That's heavy. The Lord brought us out of the iron furnace in Egypt, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are this day. Verse, yeah. So basically, after he did all that for us, and we still sinful. I mean, if you got a God that put you in slavery, then bring you out of slavery, and you still hard-headed, man, and the Lord wasn't playing when he said we stiff-necked. We like this abuse, obviously. It seems like it, at least. But, when you also got other nations, eating us alive, especially Esau, it's hard to, I understand it's hard to get right a lot of times, but now you got examples of righteous brothers and sisters. All you got to do is come into the school, call the school, and come in and learn, one day at a time, like we all had to do, and you will become righteous, and you don't have to, sit there and worry about, things that you used to worry about when you were in the world. Some things, as long as you do right by the Most High, a lot of things will just be taken care of for you. Now, this book ain't magic. A lot of times they think, you could just say a prayer and then something magic comes. You got to do some work, and once you do some work, some things, you ain't going to just have this is a great life. That ain't even life. You're going to have problems. You're going to get the Most High going to test you with a lot of stuff. You talk a good game. He going, Satan know where you weak at. Satan know, that you might like a woman and, got a big behind and you trying to do the right thing. He send you one of those. Now what? All that talk you got, see what you going to do. So it's a constant test being in this truth, but it's not anything that you can't overcome. And sometimes, a test is good. A lot of times, anytime the Most High is testing you is good because it only makes you stronger. You know what I mean? And then sometimes you can see a test coming. Sometimes you can see how Satan's about to. You say, all right, I see what he's about to do. You can see it coming, man. The Most High give you that type of light where you can see, and you can just separate yourself. You can see when somebody's trying to invite you to a birthday party and be real slick about it, or all kinds of things they do to try to get you tripped up for you to not be righteous. Because birthdays are a heathen custom, and you should not be celebrating your own birthday. Now, I know it's hard to not want to be treated like a god for one day. Some people say it's their birthday week. I've heard somebody say their birthday month. That's wicked as hell. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you were born, at a certain day in a certain year, not every year. That ain't your damn birthday. The next year, your next year, you just keep, and you just want a reason to just be either a drunk or just be worshipped. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's go back to chapter 6. We'll go to 14. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 14. Ye shall not go after other gods. That's all we do in this place is deal with other gods. You know what I mean? All we do is, if it ain't Christianity with the white Jesus or the cross or the Christmas tree, it's Islam, it's Iraq, or you name it. That's all we do. And that's what we need to definitely stop that. You know what I mean? Because that's something that angers the Most High. You don't want to worship stone and wood. Salakia. Ye shall not go after other gods of the people which are round about you. So we in a hell of a hole. Like Officer Yedias, Slack is not Yedias. He's in the rap, so I can't remember this. Yaradan, Salakia, Officer Yaradan. He said we in a hell of a hole, and that's the truth because you got all these heathens around us, and you got if you ain't got a God, don't know who your God is, you just gonna leech on to them, and you'll be following everything they follow, and it angers the Most High. So you can't do that just because they say it's Christmas. It ain't no damn Christmas. It ain't no New Year's. Anything the heathens once it says it is, it's not. So just forget about it, and you'll have a lot more money in your pocket too. You see people. I had to go to the store a couple of times during the holidays and just see people mean. I mean, everybody's in line. There's all these long lines, and people are beeping on you, and cutting you off in traffic. I said, man, I thought this is about Christ. Because it sure don't seem like it, because it ain't. Nobody really cares for real. They just really, they just want to give people gifts and get gifts and eat. And it don't mean nothing. It's all, and all everybody did is all over now. It's all over. Now now it's time to pay the bill. Now you get to pay everything you skip, because most niggas skip. They skip paying the bills in December, and they're backed up all year. They don't never get caught up. Well, some people take the income tax and get caught back up, but usually they need furniture, or they're so behind in their bills. Once they get the income tax and pay that, they ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then we got King's birthday coming up. Everybody's going to celebrate that. Like, he was such a great man. He basically sold us down the damn road. So we're gonna so let's reread this. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 14. Ye shall not go after other gods of the people which are around about you. Verse 15. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. I mean, what else can you say about that? Off the face of the earth. So you don't want to be destroyed off of the face of the earth, off of the face of the earth, because he has done it plenty of times, and so you have to stay strong and get retaught from scratch. You know what I mean? Verse 16. Ye shall not tempt the Lord your God, as ye tempted him in Messiah, Slakia. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies and his statutes, which he hath commanded thee. And that's crystal clear right there. Yeah, that's a direct order from the Most High, So let's skip down to Ecclesiastes. Slakia. Ecclesiastes. Let's go to 8 and 12. Verse 8. Slakia. Chapter 8, verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God, which fear before him. And I used to be like, mad. I'd be like, damn, he does this and does that and gets away with it. He ain't getting away. Ain't nobody getting away with nothing, man. Most High, let him go, let him go, let him go. And everybody got, something they're going to have to pay for. But it just seems like Puffy, look how long he went. Look how long Tyler Perry's going. All these jokers, man, they only can go but so long. Most High bring down the hammer on them. You know what I mean? And with all that money, these guys get more money they get, the more wicked they get. You know what I'm saying? It's all gonna come out about a lot of these celebrities. How they ain't nothing. You know what I mean? They lustful, sexual deviants, homosexual, slack bent wrists, doing all kinds of evil. You know what I mean? And so it'll all come out. Verse 11, Slack, I skipped this. Is because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. So at the end of the day, you think, just because you smoke a cigarette one time that you don't die from it. That don't mean, this is therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. So they think that, being the Most High didn't bring judgment down on you immediately, that you got away with something. You ain't getting away with nothing. You know what I mean? Most High let you go and go and go, and then they'll hammer you. Let's go to Matthew 9 and 10. Slakia. Matthew. Slakia. 9 and 10. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 9, verse 10. And it came to pass, as Yahushua sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. So he's sitting with Yahushua, sitting with the sinners. You know what I mean? That's what most of us do, sit with sinners, especially righteous people. You sit with them, try to give them a little game or whatever. They ain't listening, but you try. Shalakia. Where did I go? Okay, so verse 11. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto the disciples, why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? Like, why would he eat with them? You know what I mean? They're not righteous people. But when Christ heard that, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. That's heavy, because the righteous people, I'm not saying that we don't need, he basically saying the people the sinners are the ones who need the medicine. They need, things to get them off from being a sinner. But a righteous man, I really didn't come to, they got things right. The sinner's the one who's and jammed up right now. So he sit with them. He's trying to drop some game on them. Let's see. Verse 13. But go ye and learn what that meaneth. That was heavy. So he basically he dropped a parable on them and then tell them, go figure that one out. You know what I mean? Yahushua he was hard. It's like it. He says, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, for I am not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. He dropped a parable and then he said, go figure that one out. So he was talking in all kinds of riddles and lyrical. He was, this is one of the first lyricists right here. You know what I mean? Slakia. Let's go to Mark 2:17. Let's go to Mark chapter 2, verse 17. It's always super duper heavy when you see when it's in red when Yahushua is talking. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. Slakia. Then it says, when Jesus heard it, he said to them, this is the same verse, but it's just it's Mark. He said to them, they that are whole have no need for physician, but they that are sick, I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. So that's just the same thing, basically. And he just goes on and on to basically tell them that, I come for the sinners, you know what I mean? I didn't kid. And he came for all, Israel, but the sinners are the ones who need the medicine. That's where the physician comes in at. All right, let's go to Luke 6:32. And we're going to start with verse 32. For ye love them which love you. What think have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. And that's true. A sinner always will love another sinner. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all sinning together, y'all got love for each other. You know what I'm saying? But, if you're a righteous man, you try to check a sinner, man, they hate you for that, man. They're like, man, you can't even tell a sinner nothing. As long as you're doing the same thing as they're doing, robbing, stealing, doing whatever you want, sleeping with women, throwing them away, doing drugs, smoking weed, you know what I'm saying? Then you cool, but as soon as you say, you know what? I'm going to change my ways, man. I'm not doing that today. They look at you like you crazy. Like, what? Man, hit this. Nah, I'm good. I don't want that no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm changing my life. They're looking at you like, man, you tripping. Nah, I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be righteous for a change. And that's what we need to do, man. Try to be righteous for a change. Quit trying to, find out what the Most High wants you to do. Once you find out what he wants you to do, you'd be surprised how easy it is. I'm not saying it's super. I'm just saying you think it's this big change of lifestyle for a lot of us. A lot of us, we already do a lot of things. And we still niggas, you know what I'm saying? We're going to do what we do, but there's a righteous way to be. You know what I mean? You don't have to be like a woman don't have to be like a nun or but you know what I mean? Or a monk. we still, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, but we just live a righteous life. You know what I mean? So let's go to 32 again. For ye love them which love you, what think have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. Verse 33, and if ye do good to them which do good to you, what think have ye? For sinners also do even the same. And that's how that goes. That's Yahweh speaking on that also. So, we gotta start, start figuring out what we need to do to change, to change the old man and get the new man, start living for the Most High, start living for Christ. He gave us the blueprint on how we should conduct ourselves, what holidays what high holy days we're supposed to follow, not none of these heathen holidays. He gave us the blueprint. All we got to do is follow this blueprint and stay strong the whole way until Yahweh returns. Because, it says, I'm paraphrasing, you have to endure to the end. And that person shall be saved. Paraphrasing. So it ain't, you can't fall off and go and return to your own vomit a lot of times, but you're going to lose some things when you come into the truth. That's just how it is. But, you're going to gain. I think Christ said, he either said 10 or 100-fold. So you're going to definitely gain a lot of brothers and sisters. And you might gain a mother. You might gain a rib. You might gain whatever. Most things are carnal anyway. You might lose, but if you do lose something, it's not good for you anyway. The Most High, will reveal, what you need and what you don't need as far as when you come into the truth. But you're gonna get tested, things of that nature. So coming up, we got King Martin Luther King, Michael King's holiday coming up. I guess about 2 weeks or a week. And so, they'll start talking about I have a dream and all this other stuff. It'll start being, if Esau pushed Michael King, he ain't shit. Slakia. So if he's pushing him, because he ain't gonna push nobody, he ain't gonna push Commander GEN.YAHANNA. He won't push the truth, but he'll push a sellout, Uncle Tom, who didn't love his people, you know what I'm saying? But, somebody who put like he said, led his people into a burning building. So, Esau love a Tom like that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Somebody who destroy their own people. That's why he give all these actors and sports stars all this money, because he know that, they ain't going to be righteous with the money. They're going to, show you all the things that you don't need to even see or even do. That's why you think Puffy has such a run. Tyler Perry and all them have runs like they have, because money talks. And then they don't donate. Ain't none of them donating to the I.S.U.P.K. They donate to these Christian churches with these bent wrist pastors, or, the whinings or whatever the hell. They ain't teaching nothing in the damn church. They getting him. I seen the one, he had a car. They got him a brand new Benz. I said, now what did he do to get that? What did he do to deserve a Benz? I just be like shaking my head. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I wanted to say. That's it for the class today. I got a little cold, so struggling a little bit. But we got classes every Wednesday, 7:00. And if you want to, anytime you want to watch I.S.U.P.K, just type it into YouTube. You can always bring up an I.S.U.P.K class. You can go back 20 years ago and see, you see street, camps and GEN.YAHANNA lighting up cats on the street, you know what I'm saying? And captains that was, officers at the time, and some of those are the best videos. Some of those old ones, you get a lot of knowledge out of those. A lot of street, a lot of knowledge from the street when we're in that camp, because that's what hooked me is the camps. I was like, man, and Captain Mashak and all of them. I couldn't believe it was brothers on the corner talking like that, and it was all biblical. I'm like, what? And that hooked me. And so another thing we got to do is we got to fish. I mean, everybody in I.S.U.P.K knows this, but our job, this is for people who don't know it. Whatever you do in this world to put shelter and eat, food on the table is not your real job. For a priest, your job is to fish people into this truth. So that's our main goal, is to fish people into this truth. Fish, not just people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians into the truth, and show them that they have a God. Show them how to get out of slavery. Show them how to not be a sinner. So, all right, that's it for today. Shalom, Israel.